The thing that has really frustrated me the most, perhaps, over the past several years when it comes to the WWE is their very, very glaringly obvious inability and sometimes, frankly, lack of desire to create new top stars. I mean, it's astounding how bad this company screws the pooch in this category. Think about if you're a professional wrestling fan, and let's say in 2007, you had, let's say, the Cena Orton feud, and you were like, I don't like this. This is stupid. Enough's enough. And I go away and I stop watching. And then I come back at the end of 2013. Somebody's told me it's really good. Somebody's told me this, and somebody's told me that. And then at the end of 2013, you've still got John Cena and Randy Orton feuding over the world title. In 2013. It's the same old crap. It's the same old people featured in the same old way, in the same old spots for years. And it seems like every time a new up-and-coming character really starts to get some steam and really starts to get some momentum, and the crowd and the fans really start to get behind him and say, hey, WWE, make this guy a freaking star. We're trying to tell you to make this guy a freaking star. It will be good for your business. For one reason or another, the WWE, whether unintentionally or sometimes I feel completely intentionally, yanks the rug out from under the guy and then pisses off the fans and then ruins another potential future star. You look at examples like Wade Barrett, and you look at examples like Ryback. Those are just two examples, and those aren't the only two. But those are two very notable examples of the WWE missing golden opportunities for the WWE to make new, interesting, different type of top stars. And for one reason or another, or a combination and conglomeration of reasons, they decide not to do it. And I see this trend continuing. And we so often hear now in 2014 people talking about the future, the future, the future. And you know what? The future is great to talk about. You know, I think about it as a Cubs fan. It's all I've got now is to talk about the future with the prospects in the farm system. But the fact of the matter is, those prospects can kill you because those prospects might not ever work out. And furthermore, if that team screws the pooch and doesn't give them the opportunities at the right time in the right places, they could end up screwing up that prospect. And that's what I see so often out of the WWE. And to me, a guy that is fitting into that category right now, unequivocally, is Bray freaking Wyatt. Here is a guy who is unique. Here is a guy who obviously has it. Here is a guy who has money written all over him. Here is a guy that is young. Here is a guy that you could put on all different sides of the fence, work him in different ways with all different types of opponents, and he could be a guy who could help carry your company for the next 5 to 8 to maybe 10 to 12 damn years. You would think the WWE would sit there and look at a guy like Bray Wyatt and say, you know what? We can't screw this one up. We can't Ryback him. We can't Nexus him. We got to make sure, damn sure and well, that we do everything we can to make this guy a star, because not only will it benefit the here and now, but it will put us in a better position overall as a company long term. And initially I thought that, hey, maybe the WWE is going to do that with this guy. The WWE does see dollar signs on this guy. The WWE does see the potential of this guy. The WWE understands what this guy could potentially mean to the company, both from a short-term and long-term standpoint. That's what I thought. But always in the back of my mind is that cynicism that comes with being a WWE fan, and that is knowing that somehow, some way, they are going to find a way to ultimately screw the pooch on a guy. And it seems like they're doing the same damn thing with Bray Wyatt. All throughout 2014, it seems like Bray Wyatt's been working, and Bray Wyatt has been getting over with the audience, and Bray Wyatt has been continuing to get even more over with the audience, even in spite of some of the stupid, ridiculous things that WWE has done with him. You look at his feud with Daniel Bryan. Had the potential to be a great feud. Could have done a lot of potentially awesome things. A feud that had so much more to offer than what ultimately we got. You sit there and have Daniel Bryan join the Wyatt family to sit there 2 weeks later and turn against them just so that way they could have the match at the Royal Rumble. I don't care if you change plans. I don't care about this. The bottom line is it was fucking stupid. It was stupid. At least in that case, you salvaged it somewhat in my mind by having Bray Wyatt go over Daniel Bryan one-on-one, 100% clean at the Royal Rumble, and arguably the match of the year for the company. So that's a good thing. Then you get to a match that maybe should have been saved for WrestleMania. You've got the Wyatt family versus the Shield. This has got that big type of monster match type feel to it. So, of course, the WWE, instead of waiting until WrestleMania to do it, they decided to throw it away at Elimination Chamber. And while it was cool, and while it was one of those things that felt like a special attraction match, that was the type of match that maybe should have happened at a WrestleMania. That was the type of match where you could have spotlighted these 6 guys and said 4 or 5 of them are going to be some of the future big-time players in this company. Nope, instead, you had to give it away at Elimination Chamber because, by God, you had to throw Bray Wyatt to the John Cena monster. And I will say this. Anybody that's a new up-and-comer in that company, you want no, and I emphasize again, no part of John Cena in your life, period. You better hope and pray that you're already established when you get thrown at John Cena, because if you don't, you will not come out the better for it. You will always come out the worse for it. And the reason being is because unless you are an already established name, they are throwing you at John Cena to help get John Cena over, to get John Cena more over if they think they actually can, to sit there and basically make John Cena look better if you can even actually do that. You know, if that would even work. The whole point being, it's not about you. It's not about the both of you. It's ultimately just about John Cena. And I see how they did this whole feud between Bray Wyatt and John Cena and just the frickin' abortion that it ended up becoming. You get that match at WrestleMania 30. Now, here's a chance to really establish the type of mind games that a Bray Wyatt could play. You don't put Rowan and Harper in the freaking match. It's just Bray Wyatt, John Cena. And then you have that chair spot where you could have sat there and done so many things, which they so often don't do in a Cena match, which is actually attempt to tell a real story and get us really engaged in what he's doing. Could have used the chair and got disqualified. Oh my God, Bray Wyatt really got in his freaking head. This guy is a fucking monster. Or John Cena doesn't use the chair and he loses. Bray Wyatt got into his head, took him out of his game, and found a way to win over John Cena at freaking WrestleMania. That's special. That means something. No, the WWE decided to make that a glorified 3-on-1 handicap match, which, of course, John Cena sat there and still found a way to win. Then you go on to Extreme Rules, where, of course, they have a steel cage match, and it's a glorified 3-on-1 steel cage match, where it's clearly established that John Cena doesn't need any help against the 3 of them. And then the only reason he loses is because the fucking 8-year-old kid is singing a song outside the cage. The fuck? And then you go to the next pay-per-view and you already know what freaking happens. And you sit there and you look at it and you're like, how could you screw this up so bad with Bray Wyatt? How could you sit there and just totally throw him to the wolves at the expense of John Cena? John Cena doesn't need it. If anything, you would hope the WWE and John Cena would have enough business sense to understand that, hey, ding dong, dumb dicks, here's a potential future top star for you. Maybe at some point in time, if John Cena can't beat somebody, you could actually come back to the feud 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road, and you've got the potential to draw even more money because it'll be like the last time they squared off. Cena couldn't fucking beat him. So let's see if Cena can beat him this time. It actually draws more money, so of course the WWE doesn't fucking do it. And now you sit there and you kind of spin your wheels a little bit with Bray Wyatt. And it gets to the point here. You bring in somebody to specifically work with him in the summer. You bring in Chris Jericho. And this is something that on the surface seems to have so much potential. This has the potential to reek of so much awesome on so many different levels. And yet the WWE is finding a way to screw the pooch on this too. They're sitting there every freaking week and just having Bray Wyatt stand there as Rowan and Harper beat up on Jericho, and then he hits him with the Sister Abigail. Why would you take such a unique and interesting and compelling character and have him do the same fucking thing every single week? Why would you sit there and continue to have a guy that's one of the most over with your audience and try to work him heel when the fans clearly want to get behind him? And I don't give a damn what type of spin the pro WWE spin doctors try to put on this. When you're trying to portray somebody as a villain and your crowd is almost unanimously cheering them every single week, that is not a good thing. It throws off the whole fucking dynamics of everything. So you sat there in 2014 and you've done several things, in my opinion, to really make Bray Wyatt look stupid, make Bray Wyatt look ridiculous, and make Bray Wyatt look weak. He sat there and couldn't really have full control over Daniel Bryan for more than 2 weeks. God forbid we'd actually really want to go as far as we could with that story. But at least he won that match. And at least he was a part of the winning team at Elimination Chamber, even though that match should have been saved for WrestleMania 30. But then he's got to sit there and never really get the upper hand and never really look good against Cena, frankly, at any point in time. And now we get here to Jericho, and he's hiding behind his henchmen. And you're going to sit there and say, well, those are good heel tactics. No, not in this case. It's not. Because at some point in time, you've basically said that Bray Wyatt can't beat anybody by himself. Where the fuck is the appeal in that guy then? Especially with the type of guy that he is. You would think he would be the guy that in those big matches against those big players like a John Cena or a Chris Jericho, he might, God forbid, actually be able to occasionally beat him one-on-one without any freaking help. And it really frustrates me here. I understand having Chris Jericho go over at Battleground. The way you did it, you had to do it. You had to have him get one over. But damn it to hell! How could you sit there and take Bray Wyatt, a character that is so interesting, a character that is so different, a character that is so unique, and make him so much like everybody fucking else? How could you sit there and take him and make him like a cookie-cutter chicken shit heel who your audience is still, by and large, almost unanimously cheering on a week-in, week-out basis? You would think having a guy like a Bray Wyatt would lead you to want to do different things. Creative things, to emphasize his difference, to emphasize his uniqueness, to emphasize his variance from the rest of the roster. But no, the WWE says, no, we want to do him just like everybody else. And now the WWE has taken one of my favorite guys and maybe kind of start to look at him and be like, it's Bray Wyatt. Whereas several months ago, I'm like, yes, it's Bray Wyatt. Business is about to fucking pick up. Well, no, the WWE, all they're doing is screwing up more potential business now and in the future with their ding-dong dumb-dick booking of somebody like a Bray Wyatt. It's not that hard to figure out, WWE. There are a lot of things you can do to make this guy a big star. There are a lot of things that you could do to make him one of the most entertaining people on your entire television product on a week-in, week-out basis. But I will assure you, one of those things is not what you're doing right now and not what you have been doing over the past several months. You served him up to the John Cena monster. He comes out worse for it. And now here he is. You get the fucking Jericho, and he's really coming out the worse for it. Oh, what a disaster. Just more of the same old shit from the WWE. And to all of you that sat there and said, different time, it's a different era, new outlook for the WWE. Your main event at SummerSlam is John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Randy Orton still in a featured match. How the fuck is that any different? And all the while, guys like Bray Wyatt are being set in a downward trajectory with their character. Sounds like the same old WWE BS to me.